This right here is probably the biggest reason why you've not scaled past 10K a month yet with your content agency, or why you did, but you live a miserable life working way too many hours a day. Or you didn't, and you still live a miserable life working way too many hours a day. Both can be true, but this is basically systemizing and delegating, okay? And I made the mistake myself of doing this way too late. And like I still edited my own videos and did everything myself for months. And I wish somebody would have told me earlier to not do that shit. And so that's why I'm making this video right here. Because I'm telling you, do not do that shit. But I'm also going to explain in way more detail about how exactly that will look. What does delegating look like? Which people do you need? And which people do you need to put in place where? And we're going to go through everything now. So at the end of this video, you will know how to run a content agency at 20K a month in profit with only 30 minutes of service delivery. You heard that right. All right, let's get it then. I start at the top right here. So this is if you are only you, like it's only you in the content agency and you're doing everything yourself. And what you have to do is essentially just map out your whole service delivery structure, like from onboarding a client to actually getting them results. Just put down the whole workflow into Miro. I did that here as an example. I'll just quickly walk you through that. Yours might look slightly different, so make sure to do it for your own service delivery as well. For example, I do not go and film for my clients, they film themselves. So in yours, there might be filming or whatever, but it will roughly look like this. So let me walk you through this. So we first collect the cash on the call, yeah, whatever. So then we book them in for a strategy call and onboard them into Slack or WhatsApp. I would recommend using Slack, but I know a couple of people use WhatsApp for communication as well. Whatever, get them into your Slack channel. Then what we do is we do research on their previous content, if they have any, to get a good idea of what they might want before the strategy call. And we tell the client to prepare some inspo and some ideas and like maybe some other accounts that they want their content to look like, whatever, right? Then we take the strategy call, and on that call, it's about an hour long maximum. And on there, we discuss the audience that we want to target. We discuss the content pillars that we want to do. We discuss specific content ideas that they want to do as well. And we talk about how to monetize the audience and how to actually generate revenue from this. We do all that on the strategy call. And then on the same call, we book in the next call for scripts in 5 days from now. And then before that call, we write out 7 scripts at least for like the first week, because we always do daily content for our clients. So we script out about 7 scripts. If you do this yourself, it's going to take about 2 to 4 hours. It might take less, it might take longer. But so yeah, but it's roughly around this time right here. And then we get them on the script call and walk them through, get their feedback on the scripts, make sure we're on the same page. And then we set a date for when we want the videos back, meaning like the footage, when they can actually record it and send it to us. We want to set a date for that, so we actually hold our clients accountable. Otherwise, you might get the footage in like a month from now. And it's not great, so you want to move forward. And then we book in the actual check-in call in like 1.5, probably like 2 weeks from now, because we do a bi-weekly check-in call with our clients, especially with new ones. And then after a couple of days, the client sent the footage back on the agreed date. And then we edit the videos. And now obviously this completely depends on how much, like what type of videos, how much footage, but it will take at least like if we're talking about daily videos, like 7 videos, they will take a minimum of 5 hours. It might take even like 10 or over that. It kind of depends on you, but it does take a shit ton of time. Like the editing part, like I just put 5 minimum, okay? Because I know it's probably going to take 5. If there are more, then it might even take 5 hours per video, to be fair. If they're like super like long raw footage, a lot of animations, a lot of shit in there, might even take 5 per video, but just go with the minimum 5 hours for editing all the videos, okay? And then you send the videos to the clients to be reviewed. That takes about like 15 minutes. Just package them up into a Google Drive, or like send over the link or whatever. Ideally, we want to put them into a structured sheet or an Airtable or whatever, but it's just about sending the videos over. Client reviews the videos. Then you have to do possible revisions. Now this might be 0 if you have to do no revisions, but usually it takes about like 60 minutes, a little bit of back and forth on the videos, do the revisions, get it back, especially on 7 videos, might even take over 60, but again, I'll just go with the minimum here. And then the client approves the videos. We create titles for the videos. So for YouTube, we create titles for them, and for Instagram, we do the captions. And so we upload the videos to YouTube for our clients. We upload the videos to Instagram for our clients and write a caption out there as well, because title from YouTube does not really translate well into Instagram captions. And then after the videos are posted and online, we check the analytics, make sure that, we check stuff like the swipe away rates, the retention rates, and dips and all that stuff, and like, a bunch of stuff just to see how we can improve the videos, like the next batch of videos. Usually we do a weekly batch of videos. And in between those weeks, we improve the scripts and the way we do videos and the content types based on what is analytically performing the best. And if we do this long enough for multiple weeks and multiple cycles, the videos will start to perform really, really well and generate a shit ton of views. That's basically how we do it. But then with all the data that we gather in the analytics and all the choices that we decide to make, we create an update doc. So we put all the metrics in there. For example, how many views did we generate, how many subscribers did we gain or followers, and then also how many sales did we make and how much revenue did we generate. We put all of that into a Google Doc, plus like what videos performed well, what didn't perform well, like ideas in there, maybe some retention graphs with explanation in there, and then next steps in there as well. Basically like a whole update document. It takes about 30 minutes of just like boiling all that data down, putting some examples in there and that stuff. Maybe a little bit longer than 30 actually, but let's just say 30. And then we present this document on a bi-weekly check-in calls with our clients. It takes about 30 minutes, and tell them about like next steps, how to improve content, because you know, like just an example, client is not that great at talking in front of camera, or you tell them what to do kind of, but you know, they did something that you don't think enhances the video, the performance of it, or even just the sales from that video. Then you tell them to like, you coach them. We coach them a little bit on like how to record, what to do, and like what to do differently in the videos. So that goes into this call as well. And then this is all done for you, and this is all you're doing this yourself. Most of this, and obviously a little bit of, you know, work with the client together as well. But then this is a very important aspect, which is like the done with you aspect. So we advise clients on how they can better monetize by implementing a middle of funnel and bottom of funnel. Usually we don't do this for them. We just show them how to do it. And again, we advise them on it. And that takes like an hour every 2 weeks of like a session on that. That is not really much. But all of this right here, and you're doing, if you're completely alone, it comes to about like 16 hours of service delivery. And this is if the videos really only take 5 hours, like start to finish, raw footage to complete finished videos. It will probably take a little bit more if you're talking about daily videos, like 7 videos a week. And so it takes about 16 hours of service delivery a week if you want to, you know, provide a good service. Like you can obviously only just do a bit of editing and then send that back to clients. You won't be able to charge that much for it because it's really not that valuable and everybody can replace you. But if you want to give knowledge, give information, like do all these updates things, make sure the content is top fucking notch and they're actually generating revenue from it. It takes a little bit longer. It takes about 16 hours to calculate it like here. So this is the first stage. And I always wonder, like people tell me, I'm capped out, and it's excellent. How much revenue are you making right now? Yeah, we're at 3,000-4,000 a month, and I'm capped out. I'm just burning out, man. Like, bro, you're doing all this shit yourself, and this doesn't even include filming. If you do film for your clients yourself, this will add like a whole other day on top of this shit, bro. And then like sorting out footage and all that bullshit, that takes up a lot of time. So yeah, I no wonder that you're burned out, and especially because you're also not really charging what you really deserve, since a lot of people also don't have that done with you aspect where they help the clients monetize. That's a whole problem in itself right there. But that just leads to people burning out at like 3, 4, 5,000 a month, maybe even at 10, which should not be the case. And I mean, I scaled to like 13, 14, doing everything myself, which again, shouldn't have done that. But I wasn't, and yeah, at that point I was kind of working all day long and editing all day long and all that stuff, to be fair. But that is a solid amount of revenue at like overall. You shouldn't be burned out at like 3,000-4,000. But let's go through the next stage. So the next stage, and the first thing that you want to probably delegate is editing and get an editor. So all of this stuff stays the same. Like all the stuff stays the same. Still onboarding clients and still strategy calls with them. It's still writing out the scripts yourself and all that stuff. And then the client sends you the footage, and then you send the footage to the editors with a due date and editing instructions. That takes about 45 minutes because you want to like tell them, okay, do this here. This I want to have this video looking like this. Give a little bit of like instructions on the videos. Takes a little bit of time, and then the editors edit, and that is completely delegated. And they upload it into some kind of project management tool. We use Airtable, for example. It could be Monday.com. It could be Asana, whatever. They upload the link somewhere. We use Frame in combination with Airtable and Slack. That works incredibly well for us. But essentially, they edit the videos. And so you save yourself about 5 hours if we go with this example. But then you also, again, add a little bit of time because now you have to review Grammarly and Creatively. And that should take about 15 to 30 minutes for 7 videos right there. And then there again, possible revisions because you didn't do the videos yourself. And you want a couple of things changed. And then the final reviews and videos getting approved takes another like 15 to 30 minutes. So just reviewing and approving the videos adds another 30 to 60 minutes right there, even though you did save a bunch of time with like not editing the videos yourself. And then you send the videos to the clients to be reviewed, and everything else stays the same. So there's a little bit of, I don't think I put this back in here. Yeah, I should have put this in here as well, but there is a possible back and forth with like client, editor, and reviews. Like you have to, the client tells you do this differently, you tell the editor, hey, can you revise this? You check, you send the clients check, you check again, and then it gets approved, and all that kind of stuff. So that takes about, if you're being honest, probably takes more than 60 minutes. I just calculated 60 for it, and that is also in here actually. Client reviews, possible reviews. Okay, I actually put that in here. Here's just like a possible back and forth. And to be fair, like sometimes it just takes longer because editor doesn't do like the best job with that client. Imagine something differently. They're like miscommunication, whatever the fuck. Like that is I hate that. Okay, you shouldn't be doing that. But I'll get to that in the next step right there. We shouldn't be doing that. Whatever. It takes about 60 minutes, and then you create titles for the videos. 15 minutes doesn't take long. Probably even less. Upload them 5 minutes each. Again, check analytics, create update doc, bi-weekly check-in calls, and then the advising and the consulting. We cut down about 16 hours of service delivery to 12 because we took away about 5 from the editing, but then we added about another hour from like communication in between, revising, and all that kind of stuff. We still cut down quite a bit, right? But the next stage will blow your mind because you should already have an editor. Please tell me you already have an editor. You're not editing the videos yourself. But that is not where it ends. That is not nearly where it ends. Next stage will blow your mind. So who you should hire now is a VA, okay? Actually more like an EA, an executive assistant, but I'll walk you through what can be done with just these 2 positions right here. So you collect the cash and then you book them onto a strategy call and onboard them onto a Slack or WhatsApp. This can actually be automated. Like you can just send them for example, Notion site with everything that they have to know about, the onboarding process in terms of, make sure to prepare inspirations and inspirations and ideas from all that stuff. And then here's a link to join the Slack. And then here's a link to book a call. Like you can actually automate this. So let's just say that's partially automated. And then you can delegate this, doing research on their previous content if they have any to get an idea of what they might want. VA can do this. So everything that's orange is delegated to a VA, okay? So it's completely delegate. You save yourself about 30 minutes right there, whatever, move on. So you still take the client call. So you do the strategy call about an hour with like content pillars, ideation, monetization. You book in the next call on that call. The VA, now that is the thing. My VA, I didn't hire separate copywriters and VAs because to be fair, copywriting on shorts is actually extremely simple, okay? It is first of all very, very simple. Like you might be thinking you just go in there and you write something like this, your creative genius is coming up with these ideas, but there is a structure to everything. To shorts is like a hook, tail hook, a middle part, value, like most of the time split into like 3 parts or something, and then the CTA at the end. And if you've written enough scripts, it's not that hard for you to delegate this stuff. And my VA personally also had a proofreading background, so she knows about scripting and all this stuff. Also, make sure your VA is speaking and writing English perfectly. Like my VA does not really even have an accent. Like she speaks with an American accent, and she's from the Philippines. So you want to have a really good VA. Okay, that's key. You just want to have a good one who can write scripts ideally, so you don't have to like get a copywriter in them because a copywriter is really not that necessary for writing copy on shorts, to be fair. So VA takes care of all the 7 scripts. Right there, we have delegated about 2 to 4 hours again. Then you got on the call for the scripts, get the feedback on all the stuff, and set that date. You book in the calls yourself, and client sends videos back on agreed date again. Delegated. VA sends footage to editors with due date and editing instructions. You don't do shit right here. Like the client uploads the footage, VA sees that, gets notified, tells the editors to edit this. Also, the VA has to make sure that every editor, if you have multiple, gets a decent amount of workload. Nobody gets too much. They all can handle it. The editors edit and upload it in Airtable again. And then the VA reviews for grammar first. If your VA doesn't have a video editing background, like she probably isn't going to be able to make creative decisions at first, but she can definitely review grammar. And then my VA actually took on the creative decisions as well over time, because if you're making hundreds and hundreds of short form videos, and you tell your VA first to review this video, like also try to make her do some creative decisions of like the video editing and here, this and that, and like maybe some animations and stuff. You tell her to actually look out for that. She does it, and then you go in there, review yourself creatively. Again, here, creatively review yourself and improve it. If you do that over and over again, your VA will realize patterns and like, okay, this looks better than this. Yeah, he's right. So we could still implement this there. and she will learn. It's like an AI that you're feeding a lot of data into. It's just a human brain, whatever. Like think about it like an AI you're feeding a lot of data into, and the VA will still learn over time and can take this on. But for now, let's just say you just got your VA. She can review videos with grammar first, so you're at least not reviewing the fucking spelling mistakes and the subtitles, which we know can happen if you do videos with subtitles. And then there's some possible revisions just like in between the VA and the editor. And then once the VA approves the videos, you review them creatively and approve them, or there are a little bit of revisions. But at that point, there really shouldn't be many revisions right there. And then the VA sends the videos to the clients to be reviewed. It's completely delegated. The VA makes sure possible revisions get done immediately if the client reviews and there's like stuff that they didn't like. So the VA makes sure that she goes back and forth with the editor until the client approves. Then the client approves the video, and then the VA creates titles for the videos. That's you really don't have to do that. You can check the titles for like 5 minutes, make sure they're not that bad before they go out. But then VA uploads to YouTube, VA uploads to IG or whatever other platforms you're using for your clients. And she also can write the caption. And then the VA checks analytics and creates the update doc, because it's really not that hard, just analyzing data. You can create SOPs and delegate all this stuff. And then you will have the bi-weekly check-in calls, and you will also advise the clients. So essentially, only things you really take on is client calls and communication, like sales and client calls and the consulting aspect right here. And then you drastically cut down your service delivery from 12 to about 2 hours per client, which is really decent. Like that is incredibly decent right there. You can go a step further, and most people don't really do this since this is mostly enough, but you can go a step further and hire somebody called a CSM. Your VA might be able to do this job as well, depending on what type of VA you have and how long the person has been already in the business. If the person has been in the business for over a year, or like a couple months, they understand everything very well. They took on some of the client communication, at least in chat, and they, the clients know them and all this stuff. So they built some kind of relationship with them. You could even give the VA the job of a CSM. Just make sure that the person is not overworking themselves and like the workload is actually manageable. But the role of a CSM, the client success manager, is actually just to make sure that the clients are really happy and taking on all the client communication 100%. So your only thing you would really have to do now is just sales, collect cash and like do the sales calls, whatever. And then the CSM would do everything in between, like the booking the strategy calls, onboarding them, taking the calls with the clients right here, taking all these calls, and then also reviewing creatively and improving the videos, because you really don't want to, either the VA does this after a certain amount of time, or you get a decent CSM who can do this as well. But you really don't want to review videos anymore. You just want to have it completely automated. Like the video section is done completely, and then all the same stuff, like the videos get approved, and then the CSM can check titles. Titles really don't have to be checked after a while, after VA actually gets them right every single time. Like I do not check those. Nobody else checks those. My VA just creates the titles and they get uploaded. And then the VA uploads the videos, and then the VA checks analytics and creating update doc. Actually, this, once you have a CSM, it's better to have the CSM do this, or if the VA does, fulfill both roles, then she can do this as well. But this right here can also be, this color from the CSM, because if he's or she's going to be the one taking the, client calls, then it makes a lot of sense for them to know exactly what's going on. But to save them time, the VA could create this, and then they could go over it, whatever. And then they would have to take the bi-weekly check-in calls with the clients, and advise the clients on monetization, implementing middle and bottom of funnel, making sure they're happy and generating more revenue. The CSM doesn't have to do that much. They just have to manage the clients, and it actually doesn't take that much time. So also that person is not going to be as expensive. And again, you could also just have your VA do that. But that will cut your service review down to 30 minutes. Now, what is those 30 minutes? Because there's no time right here. There's nothing you really do yourself. Now, it's a little bit of the sales, which is not really service review, so I'm not counting that in. But mainly what you have to do now is just check in, make sure that everything is going well. And this 30 minutes is not even per client. It could just be per day, per week, like depending on how how much of a micromanager you are. If you aren't, then you can trust your team. What you can do is just make sure that your VA sends you a daily report. So, how are the clients doing? How much revenue is being generated for them? How many videos are being done? Are there any issues? And then only if there's actually some important problem that cannot be solved internally, like for the team right there, they come to you and actually, ask about certain things, ask about certain decisions, client problems as well. You could handle those, or payment failures or some, stuff like that, client churn. That's a little bit of it. And then that will maybe max out at like a couple hours a week, maybe 3 to 4 or 5 hours a week of total work on the, or even in the agency. But yeah, this is the point where you really want to get to. But forget that last one. Maybe this is a little bit of an overkill and this literally doesn't even save that much time. But please get to this point as soon as possible. Don't wait to be at like 15K a month to be able to do this. You don't have to. You could do this way earlier. You could implement the team because you pay the team on a pay-per-video basis. I would always pay editors on pay-per-video basis, never really salary, because that will just incentivize them to work faster and get more videos done, obviously. But it will also, in most 99% of cases, will be much cheaper to do that. And then the VA gets paid on an hourly rate. And if you get a VA from the Philippines, you don't really have to pay them more than like $6, $7, $8 an hour, which for the work that they take off is incredible. And so if they work less and you have less clients, both of these people get paid less, and you don't, like, the margins always stay the same because the costs increase over time since you really don't put anybody on salary. And with all this, like in the second stage where you have an editor and a VA and you only work about like 2 hours on the clients per week, then your margins should really still be about 80%. And they also will be 80% at scale since, again, costs increase relatively. And if you are below 80% margins, profit margins, then it means you're just not charging enough. Which means your offer is probably not that great, which means that if you would charge enough, they would probably leave you immediately, or they would just not buy in the first place. So there's probably an offer issue right there. But yeah, all this 80% profit margins, not working your ass off in the agency because you shouldn't be. All these things can be delegated. Trust me, you're not that special. You don't have to do everything yourself. And I thought the same when I was doing this. So I made the mistake. Don't make it yourself. But yeah, I hope this was valuable. I know these kind of videos get less views most of the time, but I also know that they're super valuable for the people that are actually in the trenches trying to build up the agency. So yeah, I hope this was valuable. If it was, though, I'd appreciate some engagement, a little bit of like likes or some stuff like that, a little bit of the comments, just so I know that these videos are actually valuable. But yeah, I appreciate you for watching. If you have any questions on any of this stuff, just message me on Instagram. The link is in the description. And yeah, I might be seeing you there then. Take care.